This is Francis. Today I wanted to talk about energy versus time because that's a huge concept that I've discovered years ago. I remember, I think it was 7 years ago when I was a sales manager and there was a lot of pressure. I was a newly manager and it was in the industry of photocopiers, so lots of service calls that are coming our way and people are complaining, and we were in the midst of different things and changes. I had a new team, and little to say, I was really stressed. I was stressed and I didn't take time to eat. I was just calls after calls after call. And there's one day I didn't feel good. Like my heartbeat started to beat really fast. I didn't know what was going on. I felt a bit dizzy. I almost felt that I had a heart attack, and I didn't know what a heart attack was. And it wasn't, except that I really didn't feel good. So I had to leave. I left the office and I had what you call an anxiety attack. And it was weird because I wanted to puke. I was just on the side of the building, and then I went to the clinic, and then at one point, I thought everything was fine. The guy is just looking at me, and I almost lost it. And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" And I went to the hospital after, and they said, "Yeah, you've had an anxiety attack." And at that time, I remember that I made a promise to myself that I would take the time to eat. Just that alone, because there's a lot of, and I'm sure maybe with you, when you're at work, you just go downstairs at the food court and get that that thing you're eating, the food, and you're just eating in front of your desk for 5 or 7, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you go back to work. The thing is, you never really take the time to slow down, and it builds up. And to a point where you might have an anxiety attack, or you start to be really not productive. And yesterday, for me, as an example, I decided to just take a rest, relaxing and enjoying life, instead of doing a video and not being inspired, because I really needed to take the time for myself. So there are multiple ways of taking time for yourself, and here's what's happening. One way is meditation. I think I mentioned before Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is a guy very busy, making billions of dollars every year in the stock market, meditates 30 minutes a day. And there's some of my friends that are saying, what, Francis, is good for you, but I don't have the time. It's not about having the time, it's about taking the time. And best athletes in the world are taking the time in between very intensive sessions. They're taking the time to recoup. And I remember a book which was called The Power of Full Engagement, or something like that, close to that title. And all it was people that are looking for having more time in their life. But time is not the most important thing. The most important thing is having energy. So I just had an idea. Imagine this. There's an exercise, and I say, you have 50 apples to bring from point A to point B. And if you're really good at it, you can bring all those 50 apples, and it's going to take you 10 minutes, right? From point A to point B. So what happens if you don't have the energy to bring those 50 apples from point A to point B? Maybe you're just going to bring half of them. And so how much time will it take you to go from point A to point B to bring all those 50 apples if you only can bring half of them? And you remember, it takes 10 minutes. It's a pretty easy math, right? So now that you have to do it twice, it's going to take you 20 minutes for something that could take you 10 minutes. But what ends up happening for us normally is we're really trying to bring all those apples at once, but we don't have the energy. So we're spending more time doing back and forth, and maybe spending 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, because one, we're not inspired, two, we're tired, and then productivity level is just shit. And instead of just saying, I'm going to take the time to slow down for 5 minutes, or whatever, let's say your task was taking 4 hours, maybe you need to rest for an hour, because that hour of rest is going to help you to be so much faster of what you have to do. You might do it in half the time because you're just rested. You have the energy to do it. That's so important. That's one of the biggest concepts for me. It's kind of counterintuitive because you're thinking, I'm slowing down. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. The thing is, Now you don't have anxiety attack, you're making better decisions, you can be creative and maybe find in that time of slowing down other people that can help you do it. And you end up doing it so much faster. Two rules that I can share with you that I know you're aware of, the Pareto law. You remember the 20-80 rule? So what ends up happening is that normally 20% of everything that we do generate 80% of everything. So that's a great news, because you know that in fifth of the time you create pretty much 80% of everything. So that's satisfying to know that there are times for us to slow down. When we slow down, we only need 20% of what we need to do, the time that generates 80% of results. That's it. And the second rule is, I think it's called Parkinson law. So if I tell you you have 5 days to do something, you'll probably do it in 5 days. And if I say you only have a half an hour, you'll cram everything in that half an hour and you'll end up having something pretty good because you have a focused attention. So you can work on those laws knowing that slowing down is great. You can use the Pareto law or the Parkinson law after that, and you'll get everything done. That's the magic of not time management, but energy management. That's why it's so important. There's more program about wellness program in the corporate world. They understand that people need to feel good before anything else. I hope this was inspiring. If you feel stressed out during your day, just know that you might need to take some time to rest, to take the time to slow down, so that your creativity comes back, your productivity comes back, your stress level goes down, so then now you can make so much more. And when you're inspired, you get other people to do it for you sometimes. There's so much you can do. And I'm so glad that for myself, yesterday I took the time to slow down. And now I feel so much more energy in my body that I'm inspired to do much more. And if I feel stressed, then I know what to do. I hope you're going to have an amazing day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And until then, slow down, relax, have some fun, and you'll get everything done. Have a great day.